Well, good Friday afternoon, everybody, on a cloudy, gloomy Friday afternoon. Week 9 of the End Zone. This is the End Zone preview show. Make sure to please download the KCBD End Zone app and all of our mobile apps as well. Of course, tonight, probably the First Alert Weather app as well, because some storms might be coming in. You can see right now we have just the radar on the bottom right corner, just so in case anything gets more severe, that we can switch over to that. We probably won't be taking that long for today. Once again, Bobby Manali here alongside Andrew Wood. Just previewing tonight's matchups. Quite a bit of good matchups tonight, Andrew.
And now it's kind of interesting time of the year because now we look at the playoff picture, and it's kind of starting to form a little bit. We don't know who goes where, but we're starting to kind of get a glimpse of it.
Yep, and the first one, of course, will go right off the bat tonight, 6A, Friendship traveling down to Odessa.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about the status of Chase Campbell, who was hurt in the third quarter last week against Legacy, but given that they're playing the Odessa Broncos, who go in with an 0-7 record, I don't know if it'll be that much of a deciding factor. I think this is the kind of game Friendship needs. I don't believe that Quade Ferris will be under as much pressure as he was last week with Legacy. So I definitely think Friendship, they're trying to get back to 500 and better, and they can do it tonight.
And we'll go straight into the 5A side of things. Just one 5A game is one that we'll be streaming tonight on our KCBD digital platforms, as well as our connected TV app and on YouTube as well. It's Caprock taking on the Westerners of Lubbock High here tonight.
And, yeah, it seems that Lubbock High seems to do better at home than they do on the road. Like, we won't get into the difference there, but if you see the way their offense is coming alive at home, like, it's really where there's a difference, and hopefully we'll see it tonight. Now, both teams have a strong offensive line running back tandem. Last week, Coronado went up to Amarillo expecting to get their first win, and I think the Longhorns caught them off guard. And I think it's interesting both teams have a different mindset. Like, I think Lubbock High is just trying to get its win, and Caprock, now having beaten Coronado, may have an outside chance of the playoffs too.
And then moving to 4A side, we have Seminole at Snyder. Estacado is going to be traveling to Borger, and then Leveland taking on Perryton. Let's just talk about that Estacado team just real quick.
Yeah, Estacado, they're 6-2. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and then 4 have come there in the last minute, and I don't think that'll be the case this evening. Borger, they're also looking at one of these regional teams looking for their first win, and I think Estacado, I think the game will probably be decided by halftime. Of course, on this segment, we've given Cedric Ross quite a bit of credit, but in that Perryton game, James Bozeman scored offense, defense, special teams, every way you can think of, and each score is kind of necessary as they held on to beat Perryton. So I imagine the minute they start shaking hands, or even before, they'll look to next week's Thursday night throwdown against Lubbock Cooper Liberty.
Mm-hmm. And going on to 3A, handful of 3A games on tap for us tonight on the End Zone. Make sure to please download the app. We'll be getting up-to-date scores all throughout the evening. Just a few games that we're following is Shallwater at Bushland, Brownfield at Denver City, Kermit taking on Lamesa, Dimmitt is traveling to Childress, Canadian at Tulia, Littlefield at Idalou, and then Slayton at Millshoe. Let's talk about that Shallwater at Bushland game.
Yeah, Shallwater, I was kind of wondering about them earlier in the year, but now they've come alive this last month. They've had that 52-20 win over number 6, the team Canadian. They were number 6 at the time, and not many teams can say they beat Canadian that badly. And, of course, the way they played Pecos, beating them, I believe it was 58-6. And Bushland, I found out they're 4-4. And usually they're one of the best teams of the Panhandle. And it's interesting, we talked about Canadian, and Canadian actually beat Bushland earlier in the year, 24-14.
And then the next one we have is Littlefield at Idalou.
And this is a game where we'll learn a lot about either team. Both teams have a great quarterback. Sammy Son's a great passer. Camden Lutrick, he's a dual-threat quarterback. Of course, you saw what he did against Shallwater, a very good Shallwater team. And Idalou, I've learned as much about them, aside from their blowout wins, the way they played Wall, the way they kept them close. But I think the game, it's in reach for both teams. But Littlefield probably need their best game of the year because Idalou's playing really well right now.
How's Idalou going to do tonight, Mr. Wilbanks?
Go Wildcats.
There you go.
Yeah, Wildcats versus Wildcat.
All right, so then on the 2A side of things, we got Abernathy at Floydada. Alton's going to be going to New Deal. Newhome at Post. Stratford's going to be traveling to Bovina. Morton's going to take on Crosbyton. Hale Center at Sudan. Lockney is going to Rawls. Tahoka at Plains. Sundown at Ropes. And Smyre at Seagraves. Pretty much going to be a big game tonight. New home at Post.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering about Post because they, just a month ago were number 2 in the state. They'd won 17 of their last 18, and then they had those weird losses against Newdale and Farwell. And last week, the way they played Alton, winning on the road 48-15, proves they're still a solid team. And New Home's going to be a completely different story because this team, they've won their last 6 or 7. They haven't lost since week 1. And I pulled the New Home games on Friday night, and their offense runs like clockwork. And you ask how good is their defense, they haven't even allowed a touchdown since the 19th of September.
And both teams have been Team of the Weeks, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, battle of Team of the Weeks here tonight down in Post. Weather could play a factor in that game, so just be aware of that. A few 1A games also. We have Plainview Classical. They're traveling towards New Mexico to take on Clovis Christian. Hart at Nazareth. O'Donnell at Borden County. Meta at Whiteface. Silverton at Valley. Just a slew of six-man game going on tonight. Let's see here. On the tap side of things, we have Christ the King playing here in about almost an hour and almost around 4 o'clock, right?
Yeah, and I'll be heading out to that game. Christ the King, they're our reigning team of the week. They're 6-0. They got their first ever win over Kingdom Prep last week, and Sanjak is 4-3. But of the 4 teams, none have quite been on the same caliber as CTK.
And then also we have another game here. Let's see here. Lubbock Christian.
Yeah, Colleyville Covenant. Lubbock Christian, they're playing as well as anyone right now. They're 6-1. They're coming off a bye week. 2 weeks ago was that 65-19 win against Lake Country Christian, and that one, Day Atkins had a breakout game, 257 yards and 3 scores. And I don't expect Colleyville Covenant to challenge them near as much. So I think, and that game actually gets underway at 6 o'clock, so I think it'll work out for the Eagles.
And then on the New Mexico side of things, we have Clovis going down to Las Cruces to play Centennial. That's not till kickoff till 8 o'clock Central Time tonight. And then Lovington traveling to Deming as well, so quite a bit of miles there for the Wildcats.
Yeah, Lovington, and that's a fun team to follow, of course, when we get that game too, and they're one of the late ones because they start an hour late. And they're a fun team to watch there on the blue turf. I think they've got their toughest district play behind them. Now they have to play a 1-7 Deming team whose one win came against a winless Santa Teresa team who's playing Lovington next week. So I think they're looking for the playoffs, and it's a fun between Jaden Gutierrez and Elijah Rivero. They work together really well.
And, of course, we'll have all of these highlights from these games on the End Zone tonight at 10 o'clock, so make sure to tune into that. But throughout the whole entire evening from 7 until 10, Andrew will be updating scores on the End Zone app. Just simply click on the scores and highlights page of that, and he'll be giving up he'll be checking highlights all throughout the evening, checking out scores. And, of course, with weather playing a factor, some of these games could be delayed possibly a little bit. Just got to keep an eye out on that. And, of course, we will update you all throughout the evening for those. But other than that, Week 9 is upon us. It's going to be a quick one, I believe. It's going to be some good football weather, I guess you can say.
Oh, yeah. As long as there's no lightning.
If there's lightning involved, that's not fun. But we've handled the delays before and everything. Usually, we're used to this in August. Usually, week 1, week 2.
September. There's always that weird week in September where half the games get called off, and hopefully they won't get called off. Hopefully they all get to play through.
And there you go. But that's going to do it for us here at the Digital News Desk inside the KCBD newsroom for another Football Friday of the End Zone Preview. I'm Bobby Vanali alongside Andrew Wood. Take some time to really enjoy your life. Have a great weekend, everyone, and happy Football Friday. See you guys.